Hello everyone, welcome to day 145 of playing chess every day for you. Let's find the game. We're starting as white here, so I play e4, we get e5, knight f3, and we can go into the Italian game. a4 and a5 are good moves which allow me to play queen b3 to target this weakness. My bishop gets kicked. I could go to the center, which seems okay. The knight has to move after the trade, and it doesn't have many good squares. It can go to this square to target the pawn though, which is annoying. I think bishop back is just the right move. Last time I played bishop a2 and it wasn't the best move. Bishop a3, bishop b3 seems okay. Could play bishop d5, just anchoring in the bishop. I think I'll go for bishop d5. My opponent decides to take, so I have to recapture. They go up. I can just anchor in the pawn with this move. They want to give my opponent the center, so I'll just take this pawn. Could open up the board even more by taking, but that just weakens this pawn a lot, so don't want to take it. I could look to anchor in my knight here. Dark squares are weak right now. I think I could just castle right now, but then this would hang, or wouldn't hang. My opponent would have a sacrifice, which looks quite dangerous. Pushing doesn't allow me much. I can just develop my knight to hold on to this. If the knight comes in, developing the bishop right now is very difficult. I think I can just develop my knight, but if they push, I'd have to move, so I think I'll bring my knight to d2 right now. I'd like to trade this bishop off because it's strong. My opponent pins my knight, but I can actually push because if they take I have a check. I can also just castle. Or I could target this bishop by pushing and then playing bishop a3. And that's what I'll go for. This pawn is hanging. I could take now, which opens up my rook. And seems quite good. Yeah, I think taking seems strong because if my opponent recaptures, this is pinned, and then I can push. I can't push at the moment, but I can bring my queen up to hit this. I think just queen up now. I do lose a rook now, but at least once I move my king, I take this knight with check, which seems good for me. I think I should take with the knight, just so this isn't a check. I can take here with check. I'm still down material, but at least I can start picking up pawns. If I take this pawn, this falls to check. I could castle. I think I have to play this queen move. I'll just be down material now. But I have to retreat now. If the rook goes back, I just castle. Rook goes all the way back. I need to castle. That move hits my queen, but I can just move the queen to target this. My opponent castles, which hangs this. And I actually have ideas of sacrificing a bishop here once I move my knight. So I can actually play knight to e4, looking to sacrifice a bishop, forcing the king to run. I'm not sure if I'll have anything there, but it seems very strong, especially given that my knight can always jump in to hit the king. So knight to e4 looks like a dangerous idea for me. My opponent has a similar idea. Defending with the rook is good, but I always have this knight jump now. I am threatening to take now. Probably pushing is the right move. Bishop over to target my knight. Am I able to take? Take. Takes my queen. The knight take and it's a fork. Or take. Takes my knight. I can take and take the bishop. Think I'm still able to take her. So take, if takes my queen, I take and it's a fork. But then I still lose material. Take, let's calculate. I think taking on h6 is just good. I might be very wrong, but I'm going for it. Decides to take there, so I have to take the queen and take the bishop, and I am just down material, so it would ended up being a bad move. I do have an active rook that I can activate my rook, but that was a terrible move. King over. And here I have to resign because the rook is in my way, stopping me from ever forcing the king to move. I played with a 78.9, my opponent with an 81.9. I had 0 blunders, but 3 mistakes this game. I played like a 1550, my opponent like a 1600. I always miss playing en passant in these positions, which is just by far the best move. If the bishop takes, I can put so much pressure on this. And here I was losing, completely losing to a tactic, which I missed. Because the bishop takes with check and the rook is undefended, my opponent can win material. I had to just castle here to stop that. Queen back was the best move. So the bishop sacrifice was okay, but not actually the best move. It was best to just defend my queen. This sequence just doesn't give me very much. And I tried to win the endgame, but I was just losing the entire endgame. And here I had no chances of winning, so I resigned. There's no way to move the king. Let's find the second game. This time I'm starting with black, and we get d4, so I'll play d5. We get this London system. I'm quite sure the best move is knight to f6. I could bring my own bishop to control this. Bishop f5 looks very good. The knight comes in. I can strengthen my center and open up my bishop, which seems good. My opponent locks out my bishop. I can trade this off. If the bishop goes here, I go back. Opening up the rook is okay. I just want to start pressuring my opponent. I could actually jump my knight in, but I think I'll just trade off that bishop. And pawn takes. I can jump my knight in right now, although it's probably just best to castle right now. Could also develop this knight to the center. The bishop comes in looking to trade off the piece, but I think if that does happen, I can just really lock my knight in here. I could castle now. Going into this trade doesn't seem that good for me. I don't see any way I can really attack the queen, so I think I'll just castle here. The knight moves to target the bishop twice. My opponent's kind of forcing me into this trade. I could go here, but the pawn's defended. I can just go into the trade and then develop my knight to the center. The knight goes back. I could attack this pawn, although I don't think the sacrifice actually works. Could go for this pawn, which seems quite good. If this move comes, it just makes weaknesses. And so if I go knight here, after the trade, my knight hangs. Could play f5, but f5 always seems to be a terrible move. Although in this case f5 does lock the knight in really well. Can develop the queen to target this, or even target this. f5 seems... f5 allows the knight in here, which is very annoying. I should probably play c5 right now, just looking to develop my queen quickly, and also probably to push. c5 also lets me take with the knight if I want to, so I'll play actually c5 here. And my opponent takes. I think before I take the knight, which would lose the pawn, I can actually push, forcing the queen away. The queen must move and then I can take, but then I still lose the pawn. I'll kick the queen away first. At least this way this pawn is defended. The queen here is the best move to protect the knight. So my opponent does play that move. After I lose this pawn, which I unfortunately have to do, I also have to play g6 to stop mate on h7. And I don't like my position after that sequence. Although I can develop my queen to target this. So I'll take queen takes. I have to play this and the queen can also pick up this pawn. But then I can start pressuring on this side, which I like. If the queen decides to take, I think I just play queen b6. The knight can jump in. Seems so annoying. Although not at the moment because my queen is defending. Castling is a move which looks extremely wrong. I guess the idea is to push. Castling gives me this check, although my opponent just takes and there's nothing there. f6 now still looks terrible. I'll play queen b6. My goal is to bring my queen in here to pressure the king. I think the king is always safe. And if I go here after takes, the knight also comes in, which is extremely annoying. I can bring my rook to the center. Knight goes there. If the check takes, I can't really push at the moment. f5 now is a move that does not work. I think I have to give up this pawn, there's no way to defend it. I could kick the queen away, but the queen just moves and then there's an even bigger problem around my king. I think I have to give up this pawn. My position is terrible right now. Takes with the knight. That's a very good move because of check on the next move. And then after I go here, and this check comes, my position falls apart. It's very bad for me. I think I'm completely lost right now anyway, so I'll play this knight move regardless. Queen f is very good because after check I move my king. There's this move. There's so much pressure around my position. It's completely lost. This pawn is stopping me from having a drawn position. I will go for these checks. Here if the king moves here, I take. Here if the king moves here, I give a check. I have to just try and give as many checks as I can. Knight check, I have to run my king this way. Knight check, I move again. King here I take. Defending doesn't work. With the defending, check, the rook is actually protected. Knight check again. If I step here, there's another knight check. If I step here, there's this move, which just wins the game. So I need to step to e8. Knight check again. If I step here, there's this covered check. If I step here, there's this move. I think I just have to run my king here. Here there's this. So here, there's this again. Now I have to run my king this way. I think I step this way now. But if I step here, there's just this move. There's this move, but then I take the knight, so don't think that works. This move, I go for the same sequence. Well, after check, the king moves here. I don't even have this check. I have this check instead. And good game. Let's look at this game. So my opponent played with a 77. I played with a 59.2. And I had one blunder which just completely lost me the game. And then I think the second one was me sacrificing the knight, so let's see. After d4 I play d5. My opening was very good. I should have just pushed him to open up the center, give me some checks. And c5 was the blunder which wins a pawn, because after knight takes, the queen can just take. And this was another blunder. Checkmate in 2 moves after this c5 push. Wow, my opponent can sacrifice a knight, I think. That's such an annoying lineup. So the first blunder was playing c5, which seems like a good move, just fighting for space, but it does lose this d5 pawn. But then c4 is an even worse move, because although I'm attacking the queen, I will still just give up a pawn. And there's actually a forced checkmate here. My opponent can sacrifice a knight, and whatever I take with, whether I take with the queen or the pawn, my opponent has checkmate in the next move. Which both of us missed, and that would be such a sad way to lose the game. After playing c5 and c4. My opponent found the right move. If my opponent played queen d2 instead of c2, that would be a terrible move. They'd lose all the advantage. They didn't miss a knight sacrifice. I'm forced to play g6 here. The best move was actually h6, just stopping the rook and stopping the knight, which h6 actually does look much better than g6, but that's okay. Queen up. f5 was actually a good move in this position, which is weird. This knight move is a good move according to the computer, but I should have gone queen here. Queen here would, after this, instead of recapturing, I should have gone queen here. Target these pawns, but and taking the knight is actually a mistake. I had to bring my rook over to give my king more space. And my opponent does find the checkmate 4 moves with the queen. My king was forced to move around the board. And this pawn and queen aligned to give checkmate. I actually had to go rook to f8. Although it's still completely losing in this position. Queen d7. It's a terrible position for me the entire game. And there's nothing I can do to win. So c5 this game was actually a blunder. Just because of the queen and rook alignment. Which seems very unlucky. And that's it for today, guys. 2 games. I think in the second game I played much better, but still lost. My first game was very, very bad. And I deserve to lose both games today. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.